Off a tough homestand and surprised the Cardinals in St. Louis. 3 brilliant starts from the rotation, several timely hits from the offense, engineering the first sweep at Busch Stadium in franchise history. It doesn't get any easier tonight against the defending champs. Gio Gonzalez faces Edinson Volquez in the series opener from KC. Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. It's overcast, it's cool. Welcome to home of the world champions. And when you're the National League Player of the Month for April, everybody wants to be you. So Bryce and the Nats are here in Kansas City, from one great baseball town to another, and another great series here. Hats off to Bryce Harper. There were guys who maybe finished the month stronger than Bryce, but he was great all month long.
Yeah, the theatrics too. The timely hitting, the 100th home run is a grand slam, the pinch hit home run against the Twins to keep that thing going. I mean, just look at his numbers for the month. Average 286, 9 taters, on base percentage, stole 5 bases. I mean, he did everything he could possibly do in a month, and he's hoping to continue that here in May. May got off to a rough start, but just one day.
The Nationals scored 17 runs in 3 games in St. Louis, and the long ball was huge in very timely fashion.
Yeah, Danny Espinosa in Game 1 checking in with his first home run of the year. Made a 3-2 game, 5-2, and then Jason Worth in the first inning Saturday, a 3-run bomb that made it 4-0. So they got off to a good start in the second game of the series, and then going for the sweep. It looked like it was going to be a pitcher's duel. Then Clint Robinson walks up there, checks in with his first tater of the year. And then the guy right behind him that we just showed you, Danny Espinosa, with 2 home runs in the series, kind of put that third game yesterday on ice for the big-time sweep in St. Louis.
Yeah, so the Nats went back-to-back for the 3rd time this year, and they won that series in sweeping fashion despite Bryce and an offer. They did walk him a couple of times. He did score a run. It just goes to show how far you can go with great pitching, solid defense. You don't have to score that many runs to win a ball game. So let's turn to the pitching now. Those guys were brilliant. The starters, they went right into Busch Stadium and took over that ballpark.
And it started with Steven Strasburg, 7 innings, 2-run, 9K performance. 6 of his last 9 outs were strikeouts, and he got into some kind of groove with that changeup. Everybody talking about it the next day. And then Joe Ross says, anything you can do, I can do better. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts. His ERA goes down to 0.79, just short of qualifying for one of the league leaders. And then Max Scherzer figured out his fastball command yesterday. Just a dominant performance, all with the fastball. 7 innings, no runs, 9 strikeouts, and it was about fastball command. He made the mechanical adjustments, and look at what the starters did against the Cardinals.
I mentioned the offense scored 17 runs. The defense, the pitching, only gave up 6, and that was the hottest hitting team in baseball coming into that series. FP, I think the Royals showed the baseball world last year how far you can go with pitching, defense, speed, and the occasional long ball. I think that was a lesson for a lot of people around the major leagues.
And putting the ball in play, what you do when you put the ball in play as a ball club, being pesky at the plate, playing good defense, running the bases aggressive, and then the lockdown bullpen where everybody throws a million. So these guys, if they have a lead after 5 innings, it's going to be tough for the Nats to come back.
Yeah, and by the way, the pen pretty good in St. Louis as well. Pitching matchups for the series, some guys the Nats know. Edinson Volquez tonight, saw him with Cincinnati. Chris Young, Tanner Roark tomorrow. Young was in spring training not that long ago with the Nationals. And then the Tommy John surgery boys matching it up on Wednesday. Steven Strasburg strong as ever. Chris Medlin, who some feel the Braves might have rushed back a little too soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good pitching matchups. The one thing, as you said, there's a lot of National League influence on that right side with the Royals. But Gio Gonzalez is going to try to keep the train rolling here tonight. Get this, the Nats, the last turn through the rotation, starters have a 1.05 ERA, 33 strikeouts, 8 walks, and just 25 hits alone. Gio going to try to keep it going here in Kansas City tonight.
Yeah, Gio's been great. He could have more wins than he does right now. 1-1. The league only hitting 196 against him. Some of the Royals know him. He knows a lot of them. Straight ahead. Congratulations to the National League Player of the Month for April, Bryce Harper. In the lineup tonight in Kansas City, second time he's done that. So the Nats have had 10 Players of the Month over the years. Now the sun is out for really the first time today. It's been a chilly day in KC, 56 degrees. The wind not doing a whole lot. That's good news for the fans here. Humidity up, but the forecast is clear. The Nats are hitting just .234, but in the department of timely hitting, they're doing just fine. So Murph leads all second basemen in baseball, 365, 426 the on-base percentage, that batting average, third in the league. And by the way, couple of clutch RBIs in St. Louis, 529 with runners in scoring position. Stephen Drew, who has 11 career at-bats against Edinton Volquez, gets the call at DH.
I see the arsenal for the Royals starter tonight. Fastball 94, curveball 82, changeup 85. Changeup probably his best secondary pitch, but get this, last start on the 26th against the Angels, went 5 innings, gave up 8 runs on 12 hits, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 99 pitches. So I don't know if that scares me or that's a good thing. We'll all see together here in a few minutes.
I know. Sometimes you want a guy coming off a complete game when he throws 100 pitches.
There's a pretty good defense, folks. That's how they won a World Series. Gordon Kane, Orlando, the outfield. Escobar, Colon, left side. Infante, Hosmer, right side. And Salvador Perez behind the plate.
Yeah, the two best defensive teams in baseball are meeting in this series. Perez has already thrown out 9 base runners this year, the most of any catcher in Major League Baseball. Jonathan Lucroy of Milwaukee is second. Jose Lobaton back behind the plate tonight, by the way, for the Nats. So the catching matchup.
Good as anybody in baseball at first base. He can pick it. Their shortstop Escobar is as good as it gets. Gordon, Kane, Orlando, the outfield, they all can throw. They have tremendous range. Infante's solid at second base, and Perez can throw behind the plate.
So the Major League umpiring crew for this one. Manny Gonzalez has the plate. The crew chief, field and culprit. There he is at first. C.B. Buckner. Jim Reynolds. Third base.
I mean, I think you got to make Volquez throw strikes, number one, and when he throws the changeup, ID it because it's usually not a strike. He'll start it where it looks like a strike, but drops out of the zone.
Started the game with ball 1 underway at 8:16 Eastern. 2-0 on Michael A. Taylor, who has faced him before. The Nats leadoff man, 1 for 2. Taylor had a couple of hits and an RBI in the series in St. Louis. In fact, 2 RBIs. And he gets 93 with sink on 2-0.
Starting to heat up a little.
That would be such good news for this ball club. Second baseman Infante shading him up the middle. Taylor rips one foul right in front of Bob Henley.
Anthony Rendon's going to hit left-handed.
Knowing him, he might try anything.
I saw his swinging BP today. He's messing around with it. It's pretty good.
And that one bounced a good 5 feet in front of the front chalk line of the batter's box.
That's just a little bit low. Bottom of the zone, maybe with some umpires. Boy, that was almost a strike on a hop. It's like kickball, baby bouncies. That would have been big bouncies, though.
Now the count 3-2. Nats trying to get their leadoff man on. First innings have been good to them lately. And that's the leadoff man aboard via the walk. 11 by Volquez now in 30 innings with 25 strikeouts. Gio, how about April? Lowest ERA any month of his big league career. The Nats 9-3 against the Royals, won 2 out of 3 on a weekend. The last time we were here in 2013. But the Royals have been one of the most imposing home ball clubs in baseball. They know how to use this ballpark with big gaps, with their speed and a bunch of line drive hitters. Ned Yost. Boy, a couple of years ago, they were all over him here. And then all of a sudden, the Royals gelled. All that young talent we kept hearing about coming up through their system gelled. They let Billy Butler walk after the World Series season, and then without him last year, they won the whole thing.
But Yost improved as a manager too. All those things you said are true, but you know, for a first-time manager, he went to Bobby Cox, asked for advice. Bobby Cox told him a few things here or there. He trusts his coaching staff, which I think is huge for any young manager. And then the proof is on that sign you just saw.
Anthony Rendon has hit safely 7 of his last 8 games. On base 8 of 9. Had 4 hits in St. Louis. Scored 3 runs, had a base on balls. And maybe nothing jump starts Bryce Harper for the month of May. Nothing gets him going better than a couple of guys on base his first AB. Phillies and Cardinals have pitched him tough last week. Why not take a strike? Now it's even. Nats on the road are 9-3. Royals at home 8-3. Taylor started, then stopped, and Salvador Perez pops up. Ball 2.
You know, it's a good lesson for you younger players out there. If you have a pitcher early in the game that's struggling throwing strikes, there's no real need if you're on base to steal. Let him keep struggling. Don't take the chance of giving him a free out because he's having trouble finding the strike zone right now. So if Michael Taylor goes, it has to be the best jump he ever had, and he has to make it because right now Volquez is struggling throwing strikes.
Great point. One of the best catchers in baseball behind the dish. 2-1. Runner holds. Counts even. Fewest steals allowed over the last 3 seasons. How about the Nationals right in there with the Cardinals and Molina and the Royals and Perez? All brought to you by Jeep. Two to Rendon. 2 for 6 career against Volquez. Waited for that one. Base hit right center. Taylor stops at second, so here comes Bryce with 2 men aboard to start the series.
Seeing some pitches, going deep into some counts, making Volquez work early. Anthony Rendon with a beautiful swing to right center, and there goes the no-hitter. Have a conference at the mound already.
Well, as we showed you over the weekend, as Bryce and Manny Gonzalez have a very pleasant hello. The Nationals have scored 30 first-inning runs. And even Salvador Perez happy to see a fellow all-star.
All of a sudden a friendly's broken out here.
Let's see how they like it if he hits a line drive for a couple of runs somewhere.
Love is in the air.
Bryce 444 with runners in scoring position. Does not have a career hit against Volquez. 0 for 6. Breaking ball in there.
Good call by Perez. Try to get his release point back with a fastball by going with a curveball first pitch. Slow him down a little bit.
Look at what he's doing against lefties.
Because of the changeup.
There's one.
I'll tell you what, when you strike out 4 times in a game, I don't care who you are, you flip-flop all night and you think you're never going to make contact again. And for Bryce to go 0-2 here his first at-bat the next day, he's doing whatever he can to put this ball in play.
Another changeup gets him. That's a huge out for the Royals starter in the very first inning. Price just not seeing any heaters right now, at least hittable ones.
Well, good call by Salvador Perez on the first pitch curveball. It got Edinson Volquez back into his groove, and he goes with the changeup there at 86 for strike 3, and that's the one. It's easy to say lay off it, but when you're down there hitting, it looks like it's a fastball.
Now a big spot for Ryan Zimmerman, who has 2 hits, 3 career RBIs against Edinson Volquez. Little cat and mouse at second base with Infante. Second baseman can do that because almost everyone in the league plays their second baseman right up the middle against Ryan Zimmerman, who, by the way, has been on base 16 of his last 19 games. Not a ton of hits lately, but Ryan's been taking his share of walks.
And gave us all a good laugh the other day with his ball thing after he struck out.
That was really funny.
He was right, too. That's the thing about it.
Runners are going. And for a moment, Rendon appeared picked off at first, but Hosmer never went to the bag. So Taylor's at third with his 4th steal of the year.
Well, I think Rendon didn't get as good a jump as Taylor, and when he saw that he didn't get a good jump, he choked it off because Perez was coming up throwing to second base. Michael Taylor had this bag ripped. Watch the jump. And then Rendon with maybe a lesser jump behind him, I think a real heads up and not going. He'd have been out by a mile.
Now the Nats are 13 out of 17 on the year. And Zimmerman could put the Nationals on top without a hit. But it's 0-2. And a good take there. Rendon stays. That ball got a good 25 feet away from Salvador Perez.
Now watch Anthony Rendon, top of the screen. Focus in on Rendon. You see him go a tick late behind Taylor, and Perez was coming up throwing a second. You see Omar Infante covering second. So it's a good thing he didn't go.
Zimmerman 7 RBIs on the year. 3 career against this right-hander. Outfield around to the right as well. That one hit hard to right. Not playing that deep was Orlando, and it's over his head. Scoring easily Taylor. Rendon to third. Bob Henley holds him, and Ryan Zimmerman goes opposite field to put Washington on top.
I saw something today online that said Ryan Zimmerman had the highest exit velocity of any hitter in baseball, including Bryce Harper and Giancarlo Stanton this year so far. I think you get a good idea of it right there. He sat on the changeup, or at least stayed back on the changeup, elevated enough to get it over Paulo Orlando's head in right field. And yes, the pause was because I did have to look down at my scorecard at the name. Interleague play, you know.
Yeah. Paulo Orlando. 31st first inning run for the Nats this year. And who would you rather have up there right now than a guy hitting .529 with runners in scoring position? First in the league, Daniel Murphy. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Salvador Perez, who's having a very busy first inning. So the crowd roared when they struck out Harper. Now the Nats have quieted down Kauffman Stadium.
There's Daniel hits Murphy. Check out the numbers this season. Games played 23, games with a hit 20, and 11 multi-hit jobs. Wow.
Starling Marte 12, Segura, Murphy, Carlos Gonzalez with 11. Murphy's been swinging at those pitches inside off the plate. At least he did a lot in St. Louis. Took that one and got the count further in his favor, 2-0. And by the way, might be the pick to click tonight. 6 for 15 career with 2 RBIs and 3 walks against Edinson Volquez.
Pick to click, you got to go out on a limb.
I go with the track record, man. How about that? But it's going to go foul. 3 or 4 feet foul. Murphy close to making this a 3-0 game. So Rendon got the base hit after the Taylor walk. Went to third on the Ryan Zimmerman opposite field double. Ryan's 4th double of the year, 5th extra base hit.
Ned Yost is keeping his infield back right here. Daniel Murphy, ground ball to second, makes it 2-0.
Ooh, that's a tough pitch to hit. He didn't like it. Mercedes-Benz will track it under the hands of Murphy.
Come back.
Sure did.
Even a ground ball to first scores it.
Long inning. As FP told you, coming off a rough outing, 12 hits, 8 runs in 5 innings in Anaheim last time out. Did he use that fastball to set up the changeup? He's going to go right in there again, and Murphy will get the RBI, getting the job done. The aforementioned ground ball to first base, 2-0 Nats. Murphy now collecting RBIs all over the place. 13th of the year.
Well, the Nats are 8-3 on the road this year. The Royals are 8-3 at home. Something's got to give. The Nats will take a 2-0 lead, and there goes that first inning scoring thing again.
First pitch, curveball low to Jason Worth.
Nats are 9-3 on the road. That's what I get for doing my research on the internet today.
Can't believe everything.
No, I did. I got it off some bootleg website, obviously.
8-4 at home, 9-3 on the road, getting the job done. And by the way, we haven't been able to say this hardly at all over the years. Now it's only 30 games in, but the National League has a 17-13 lead in interleague play so far. I mean, usually the American League comes roaring out of the gate and just hammers the NL. That ball is hammered, hooking into the seats. Look out. And by the way, the National League East 10-7, including the Nats sweep over Minnesota just over a week ago. Dusty's ball club a game and a half up on the Mets. Who lead Atlanta 4th inning at home 4-0. Some good at bats here early. Worth takes that one off the plate inside. 3-1. How about the weekend he had? Jason Worth 4 for 10, a homer, 5 RBIs. This one out of play. So Stephen Drew the DH tonight. He's hit 2 home runs, driven in 11 in his career against Kansas City pitching, and has 4 hits against Volquez. Jason Worth against the right-hander, 1 for 6 with a solo home run. Zimmerman at third, 2 outs. Swinging a foul tip on the off speed. So the Nats come up big, 32 runs in the first inning this year, and 2 of them in KC. On Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Wildflowers right outside the parking lot at Kauffman Stadium. Arrowhead, where the Chiefs play, right behind us here. And the Royals are hitting .254, fifth in the league. Only the Yankees and Tampa Bay have scored fewer runs. Eric Hosmer hitting the ball pretty well, though. Don't blame him. 6th in the league at .333. 4 for 6 career against Gio Gonzalez.
And see the Arsenal fastball last start 57% of the time. Curveball 17, changeup 27, fastball averaging 89.
First up, Alcides Escobar takes one outside against Gio, who's making his 9th appearance against the Royals. Great numbers.
Yeah, last start on the 27th against the Phillies, he got the 3-0 loss. But he pitched good, 6 1/3, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 108 pitch effort. Looks like he trimmed up his beard a little.
29-year-old shortstop Alcides Escobar. Part of a trade that paid long-term dividends. He was part of a 6-player deal with Lorenzo Cain for Zach Greinke back in December of 2010. He's 2 for 9 career with an RBI against Gio. And that evens things up 2-2. There's Lorenzo Cain, who hits right behind him. But these guys off to slow starts. Knock on Formica. Escobar .233, Cain at .230. And the 2-2.
There's the wood stool.
Okay, wood stool. There we go.
Much better.
Knocking on it.
Gotcha.
That hurt.
Well, that's what these guys do. I mean, they go deep into counts. They put the ball in play.
Dale Swaim, their hitting coach. 3-2 pitch. That ball driven pretty well to right. Bryce Harper going after it. He'll get there. Running toward the gap. It's 387 right behind where Bryce caught that ball. Big gaps here. Always have been.
You see a hitch in his giddy up right here? I did. Nice play by Bryce Harper going for this ball in right center field, but I'm imagining. I thought I saw a little bit of wobble there by Bryce, but a nice play nonetheless, going a long way for that ball. Big first out. Gio Gonzalez looking for a shutdown inning.
Here's Lorenzo Cain. He's 30 years of age now. Number 3 in the MVP voting last year when he hit .307. He was pretty consistent in the postseason. 5 hits division series, 6 in the LCS, 5 more with 4 RBIs and 4 steals in the World Series against the Mets. Gio going off speed, missing 2-0.
Slippage. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's going to go off the back of the mound, and Anthony Rendon and Danny Espinosa coming straight in.
Slippage, and he got a strike. He's waving the dugout off right now.
Good.
Watch Gio kind of trip on his landing foot, but he got the strike.
Good looking fastball to the outside edge. And he goes with the hook. Hitter had to do a good job to make contact there.
Yeah, Yeah, Lorenzo Cain, one of the only guys that had a good road trip. 6-game trip. They lost the first 5. They won yesterday, but he was 6 for 21, 286.
Yeah, 4-game hitting streak right now. And this ball in the air. Bryce Harper waiting for it. Ballpark completely in the shade now at 7:40 local time. 2 outs.
Let's set the defense for the Nats. Worth, Taylor, Harper, you outfield. Espinosa, Rendon left side. Murphy, Zimmerman right side, and Jose Lobaton behind the plate. Dusty Baker saying he wanted to give Wilson Ramos a day to get acclimated again, and he also wanted Jose Lobaton to catch Gio, so that's why Jose's in there tonight.
Gio has walked Hosmer career 3 times. Eric 4 for 6 against him. Hosmer broke into the big leagues in 2011, ended up number 3 in the Rookie of the Year voting. His first career at bat was against Gio Gonzalez, who got him 0-2, and then the kid Hosmer worked a walk and never looked back, hitting .293 and driving in 78 runs. The Royals learned something about his poise that day.
Yeah, 18-game hitting streak snapped on Saturday, and he rebounded yesterday with a couple of hits and a homer. And I had no idea how big this guy is until I walked up next to him today. He is put together and a lot taller than I thought, too.
Yeah, kind of an American League Freddie Freeman we're looking at here. 6'4", 225. Hope he doesn't hurt the Nats like Freeman usually does when he's healthy. And a 1-2 count. Hosmer 3rd in the American League with 31 hits already. Same number as Daniel Murphy. Two. Jose Lobaton usually handles Gio, so Wilson Ramos, maybe we'll see him tomorrow. Good to have him back with the ball club. And with the DH, they can bat him 8th and Espinosa with speed 9th. 3-2 pitch, a good one by Gio, and Hosmer stays alive. This is Gio's 216th career start. His march to 100 hopefully continuing. He's got 92 wins. 3-2 with 2 outs. Missed. Nissan will have a look at the 3-2 pitch.
Pretty close, even though Jose Lobaton was setting up on the inside, the ball the other side of the plate. It's probably the difference in Hosmer aboard. First base runner for the Royals. He's got 3 stolen bases on the year already.
Yeah, they're 20 for 25 stealing. Second only to the Red Sox in number of steals. With Taylor's tonight, the Nats are 13 out of 17. And here's the veteran Kendrys Morales, the DH. Won the Silver Slugger at DH in the American League last year when he hit .290 with 22 home runs and 106 driven in. 41 doubles. Oh, 2. Inside the numbers. A couple of ball clubs, the Nats and the Royals, not exactly hitting the cover off the ball, but they've lost 5 out of 6, averaging under 2 runs a game. Not much power. Lately, they've hit 21. The Nationals 29, and they're just not getting hits with runners in scoring position. You've talked about this, FP, in the past regarding the Giants playing that extra month of baseball every other year. How about these guys 2 years in a row?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a toll on you, but when you've done it a couple of times, you start getting accustomed to it. I mean, this is a ball club that's, I mean, just shy of winning back-to-back World Series championships.
Yeah. One base away.
Yeah.
1-2 pitch. Look out, right below us.
That's what I get for looking at the monitor. I almost got crushed.
Yeah, we're just a little bit offset to the right here. So, and we're pretty low here in Kansas City. We're going to pay some special attention to low liners here.
Oh, it's got worked.
And a 1-2 pitch. Short lead by Hosmer. Boy, Gio trying to paint that inside edge. It was the outside edge to Hosmer, and he just missed, and that one close.
Well, see what I'm talking about, though? Escobar 3-2, Kane 2-2, Hosmer 3-2, now Morales 2-2. This is what they do. They make you work. Put the ball in play. Hosmer trying to steal some signs. Check it out. Playing no peeky over there at first.
2-2. And this one just over our heads and downstairs.
Oh, get a glove for tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get some leather tomorrow, please.
Good. Right on. Hey, since everybody else does it, scoot over close to me. We'll go shift right here on this pitch. To the right side of the booth.
I'm staying right where I am. Until I'm in the line of fire, I'm not moving. 2-2. Shifting the booth. Now, Gio thought he had a strikeout. Don't know if that curveball caught the front corner of the plate. Didn't get the call from Manny Gonzalez.
That's in. Good frame by Lobaton trying to work it.
Look at this, another 8-pitch AB. Kendry Morales 2 for 8 career against Gio. Now Ryan Zimmerman goes and plays behind the runner. So Hosmer gets a good head start here with 2 outs. Target in again. And that ball didn't get in enough. Is Worth going to get it? Yes, he is. Cool night in Kansas City. In June, July, and August, that's off the back wall of the bullpen. It looked like a 2-run homer off the bat.
This place, but I feel like it was more June or July. It was very hot.
It was.
Cool night here, 55 degrees when I got to the ballpark today. Who knows what it is now, but Morales thought he got him. We thought he got him. I thought Jason Worth was deking us. I thought this ball was into the bullpen for sure. And Jason Worth back on the track makes the play, and just a long, loud out for Kendrys Morales.
Yeah, that was compared to some of Jason's plays out there lately. Fairly simple, about 3 or 4 feet short. Top of the second, Stephen Drew. Low batting average career against the Royals, 204, but as I mentioned earlier, a couple of home runs and 11 RBIs, and he has 4 hits against Volquez, who just threw his 30th pitch of the night. Goes with another hook, and it's in there. Gio had a long inning too. 28 pitches, 16 strikes. Off speed. Drew stays with it. So the big difference in the American League ballpark, a DH batting 7th, the guy with power, then the catcher, and then a speed guy who has power in the number 9 spot. Can't give him both sides of the plate, right? That was close. Price in the top rail, paying attention, probably giving Volquez as close a look as he can to see how everything looks from that vantage point. That's a breaking ball that was just a little bit high. So a couple of good takes by Stephen Drew gets it back to 2-2. And that was kind of a choppy swing at a breaking pitch. It was going straight down. 3rd strikeout.
Bud and Burger packs are back. It's presented by Budweiser. Get a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday game ticket plus a beer and a burger starting at just $35. Some restrictions apply. Visit nationals.com/Bud&Burger.
Brew houses, patios, you name it. Bud's got it around Major League ballparks. Here's Jose Lobaton. 0 for 2 career against Volquez. 5 for 30 on the year. And he hits that ball pretty well out to left center. Lorenzo Cain under it, halfway onto the track. And that ball went further than it initially looked like it was going, but had a great sound. When the Nats win and win big, that means 7 runs or more, you win at Papa John's. You get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com. Enter promo code NATS50. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza of your Washington Nationals. That's valid at participating DC, Maryland, and Northern Virginia Papa John's.
Don't we got to get Mass and Dan in there? In the fountains before we go?
Is this a dare?
Yep.
Espinosa taking the bunt with him. It checks up. Too close to the pitcher, though. And the Nats go 1-2-3. And now Volquez, 5 in a row. Washington, 2-0 early. Gio, first inning, a walk, 3 fly ball outs, one of them very long. Let's have a look at our greater coverage of baseball Brought to you by T-Mobile. So we go all around baseball and checking on the red-hot Phillies. Hey, it was no fluke to them when they swept at D.C. last week. And the Mets are hot as well. Cooled off a bit yesterday. The Marlins, 7 of their last 8. So the division is hot except for the Braves.
So you said it was going to be a terrible division, huh?
Beware of those in February and March who think they know everything. You got to play the games. Prognosticators, pundits, but not players. Alex Gordon, interleague career hitting .302 with 21 home runs, 70 RBIs. 4 for 10 career against Gio with a home run. Lobatone inside for the fastball, and that hit him. Gordon didn't do a whole lot to get out of the way, and he's at first base, having been hit by a pitch for the 4th time this year.
He started his swing, hit him in his forearm. Just about to say he had a 2 for 19 road trip. And if he doesn't start his swing on that, he doesn't get hit.
Which begs the question, how far do you have to go? Because if you're swinging when you get hit, it's a strike. But as you say, just starting his swing. So here's the catcher, Salvador Perez, who, when the Nats were here 2013, 3 years ago, was 4 for 9 in that series with a home run and 5 RBIs. And look out, Gio, he's 5 for 6 against you. He'll be 26 years old in 5 days. Great changeup. And listen to the games played the last 3 years after you see the pitch. Great on the change. 138, 150, and 142. Then add the postseason games, 14 and 15. This guy's been just about the busiest catcher in baseball.
It's kind of an honor for him that he runs the whole defense. He calls the throwovers, he calls the pitch outs. You know, a lot of ball clubs, including the Nats, the bench coach will give a series of signs to the catchers for throwovers and pitch outs. They like to control the running game, but Salvador Perez for the Royals does it all by himself. He doesn't look into the dugout for anything.
79 base runners caught the last 3+ years. World Series MVP last October. And the 0-2. He hit .364 against the Mets, drove in a couple of runs. 3 straight All-Star games and Gold Gloves. And the last American League catcher to do that, as you check Gio's pitch count, was Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer, 8, 9, and 10. Short lead by Gordon. Gio a long look, though.
But I just love to hear that a guy takes so much pride in his craft, that he does all that himself. He looks at video of the starting pitcher for that day, his starting pitcher, based on all the performances, and he does the whole pre-series meetings based on video he's watched of other teams' hitters. So he does it all himself.
It's great. Signed with the Royals at 16, 10 years ago. Gio, quick step-off move. And a 1-2 pitch with nobody out. That's looking for that ground ball. 2-2 pitch.
These guys are all pests, aren't they? 35 pitches for Gio already, 20 strikes, 15 balls.
Yeah, to get 3 outs without a hit. Into the 9 o'clock hour back home. Welcome to Kansas City. Partly cloudy night. Things have cleared off nicely, but it's quite cool, mid-50s. Kendrys Morales would tell you that. That's a busted bat fly ball, and the scramble is on. Espinosa going out and looking into the early twilight to make a fine play. Jason Worth was playing pretty deep. Omar Infante is next. Omar's 34 years of age now. Nats saw him 2008, 9, and 10 with the Braves, 11 and 12 with the Marlins. 3rd year here. He was hurt at the end of last season, did not play in the playoffs with a left oblique.
Well, it's a nice night here in Kansas City, but at home people are getting pelted by hail. Thunderstorms everywhere. Be careful. Sleeper ballpark too, folks. Wish you could be here. It's beautiful.
It is a great place. Renovated in the last 3 to 4 years and totally updated after its birth in '72. Royals played their first several years at Old Municipal Stadium, almost downtown Kansas City, where the old Kansas City Athletics played before they moved to Oakland, and Lenny Dawson and his Chiefs played up there as well.
Gorgeous yard.
When this ballpark was built, there was nothing in left field but a grass hill. They've added to it and really kind of enclosed it and made it more intimate. 1-1 pitch. That's a good changeup. Maybe Gio's best of the night.
Well, if it was the best of the night, we got to show it again, don't we? And it was. Look at that. Pulling the string on the changeup, and Fonte way out front.
Yeah.
Gio's real good with the runner on first at pitching at the bottom half of the strike zone to get that ground ball.
Yeah, great pitch against a contact hitter who has not hit into a double play this year. And he hits that one pretty well to center, but Michael A. Taylor has plenty of time and room to get back. 2 outs. Every out in the air so far. Let's go inside the numbers with PNC for the Achiever in you. So the Nats, when you're talking ERA, you're talking success. It was up in 13, a non-playoff season in between the other 2 Octobers for Washington. Earned run average as a staff, and right now coming into this game sitting at 2.30, number 1 in baseball. Christian Colon is 26 years of age from Puerto Rico. Royals made him their first-round draft pick 6 years ago. 4th player overall taken, and he hit .290 here in 43 games last season.
Plays second, third, short, all over.
Time given very late.
Well, if you're going to pause, and that's going to be one of your weapons in stopping a running game, you have to anticipate that. I think the Phillies did a great job against Max Scherzer. His last start is stepping out, asking for time. I mean, as a hitter, I'm shocked that guys stay in when Gio does it, Max does it, Joe Ross does it. As a hitter, you get antsy, man. When you're standing there too long, it just feels weird.
1-0 pitch. Just a little bit outside with a changeup, and Gio looking in, thought he might have caught that edge.
Jose Lobaton thought it was a strike. He's throwing it back. Watch. Look at. Wait.
Yeah. Nearly splitting that outside corner. but it's 2-0. Two-one changeup, ball 3.
These guys don't make quick outs, do they?
None of them. And another ball in the air out to right center. Taylor sees it. He gets to lead off. In fact, he's the subject of our Freight Railworks duo. Leadoff homer out of there in Philadelphia. He's hit 3 this year, and that one on the road. Busch Stadium had one there too.
Third inning, he looked down in the left-hand corner. Dusty Baker having a chat with the umpires. We'll get to that in a second. But first, Yoga in the outfield, way more important, returns in 2016 following the Nats-Marlins game Sunday, May 15th. To purchase your special ticket, visit nationals.com/yoga. I'm thinking it has something to do with the vision on the scoreboard that hitters are talking to Dusty about.
It's in dead center.
It's in dead center, and if it's changing screens while you're hitting, it can affect you. That's all I got, and it's a wild guess. Usually I have a better clue than that.
Yeah, the other very large scoreboard that's in dead center is in Atlanta.
They were pointing up in the air is why I'm saying that. That's all I got. Not really CSI Masson, but I'm doing the best I can.
And that's Fielden Culbreth, the crew chief, doing all the talking. Manny Gonzalez with him. This is going on for a while.
And when you think about it, it's the only scoreboard that's right behind the pitcher. Now they're going to call Ned Yost over. Oh, I need a fly on the wall. Please, somebody. Dan, what do you got?
Well, you're the lip reader.
I know, but I'm not doing so good tonight. See, I'm telling you, it has something to do with the scoreboard. I'm sticking to my guess. But why are they calling New York?
Can't think of a thing that would result in a challenge. Taylor, Rendon, Harper, top of the third in a moment. And it might have been in Atlanta, but we've had complaints from managers before about screens changing during at bats or making it hard to see. So now Manny Gonzalez is going to run back over and talk to Dusty Baker.
Could the Nats replay system be out somewhere back in the clubhouse?
All right, Dan, anything you can make out of this?
Yeah, some chatter from the Nationals dugout guys is that it is the cameras are out on the replay system. So I would think that Dusty Baker got word on that and wanted to alert the umpires that the Nationals might not potentially have replay capabilities here. Not sure.
Oh, we're going old school.
Two years ago, old school. I like it.
Well, thanks, Dan.
Well done, Dan.
They should just phone up and ask us. We're always right. We never miss them, ever. Just give me a call. I'll let you know, Dusty. I think I'm 0 for 20 this year.
Yeah. To me, that would fall under the category of call me maybe. Top of the third. Here's Taylor.
This game's flying.
Bunts. Gloved. And a good play by Christian Colon. So the Nats have tried to bunt twice, and both of them have just simply been hit too hard.
Well, he's playing in to begin with. This was just tapped a little too hard. Good idea by Michael Taylor, but anytime you field one on a hop, still pretty close. Threw it off the wrong foot. Like I said, good idea.
Next up, Anthony Rendon.
Colon sniffed it out, Bob.
He did. But the one thing I wish baseball would do, why not make an announcement and let the fans know why they sat there for 3 minutes watching nothing happen?
Absolutely.
Baseball could do a better job of that. A much better job.
On the challenges, too. Make a big announcement. The Nats are challenging the out call. You know, let people know. I'm sure everyone has a good idea, but not everybody knows.
You know. I think the fans need to know why things are happening. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rendon, who singled the other way first time. That fastball really sails high. 2-1. First 2 innings for Volk has 37 pitches, 23 strikes. The pesky patient Royals have Gio averaging 22.5 pitches per inning. Rendon drives this one to right, but Paulo Orlando is right there. More on Bryce Harper. Here's Dan.
Bob, Bryce went 0 for 11 during the St. Louis series, but the Nationals obviously still managed to sweep over the Cardinals. And Clint Robinson saying after yesterday's game, that's how we've got to play. We need all 25 guys. We can't just have 1 or 2 hitters carrying us all season. Dusty Baker saying we picked him up like he's picked us up many, many times before. And as for the 0 for 11, now 0 for 12 stretch that Bryce is in, Dusty said that tells me somebody's in trouble because Bryce ain't going hitless for too long.
Yeah, and if you count the Thursday game at home with the Phillies, he came into this game 0 for 14. Had a base hit first time against the Phils last week, and that was it for the week.
He's not on his legs like he was earlier in the season. The balance is off, and he's not riding that back leg like he did early in the month of April, where when he does his leg kick, he gets all his weight on his back leg. It's coming off early for whatever reason.
Harper waits for the off-speed pitch and hits it out to right center for Lorenzo Cain. Well, that's the best contact Bryce has made on a fair ball in a while. But now it's 8 in a row, but the Nats still lead in Kansas City. cap. You never know. Might see that in October. And when you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Ben Revere done for the night. He's on rehab with Syracuse. 0 for 3 tonight. 2 for 11. A run, a walk, an RBI, a steal. We may be seeing him in about 3 days in Chicago.
He's ready. Call him up.
Paulo Orlando, the right fielder, leads off here. '30-year-old from Brazil. Signed with the White Sox at the age of 19, 11 years ago. Tries to bunt. Gio gets it with the glove, the hand, and he throws it into the runner. Now the runner's going to be called out because he was not in the runner's box. This is a call you only see when the throw hits the runner.
And they can't review it because their replay's down now. Ned Yost has to go back to the dugout.
He can argue, but there's no challenge.
Nats replay's down. So now the Royals can't use theirs. And that's just, like I said, old school baseball.
And see, had they announced to the crowd that the replay capabilities were down, they'd know what's going on.
Yeah, look at, he's way inside the grass. That's a great call. And a good play by Gio not to try to avoid the runner. If the runner's in the line, hit him in the back. That was a good play by Gio Gonzalez. How many times do you see, you try to throw around the runner, goes down the right field line, they don't call it, and he's standing on third.
But that's a call that usually is made only when the throw actually hits the runner.
Exactly.
And you score it the same way it would have been anyway, 1-3.
So for your young kids out there, like your old partner, Bob, just pick it up and drill them.
One of Dibble's best fastballs that year. And that's a ground ball handled by Murphy to his left. And now Gio gets a couple of quick outs on the ground. And man, he could use some quick outs after 45 pitches in the first 2 innings. Lorenzo Cain, fly ball to Harper first time. Is this that
I was just
little dangerous twilight window you're talking about here that lasts about 10 minutes?
As long as I live, I don't care if I'm walking my dog, this time of night scares me. Because if you're standing in the outfield, you can't see a pop-up when it gets out of the ballpark. And it's always in my head. You just know exactly what time it is. It's a little 10-minute window that terrified me every single night. Even if I'm walking my dog. It's flashbacks.
Have you ever lost a dog in the twilight? 2-1.
Worse than Mr. Met.
And a ball drilled to left. And the Royals have their first base hit. It comes from their speedy center fielder, Lorenzo Cain, who's 3 for 4 stealing this year. Eric Hosmer, who walked, is next. So these two have had some interesting battles. 14 plate appearances for Hosmer, 4 hits, now 4 walks. Murphy just onto the grass, right field. Espinosa up the middle. Cain last year, 28 steals in 34 attempts.
So this graphic we showed you earlier, I want to show it again to you. This is not just about catchers. This is about teams holding runners on well. This is coaching staff, pitchers, and catchers with throwovers, holds, pitch outs. I mean, it's a combined effort, and I think the Nats this year are better than everybody in baseball at holding runners close. Sometimes it's painful to watch. It takes a long time, but the object is to keep them there.
Yeah. Nothing matters if you're putting zeros on the board, and that's what the starters are doing.
Bottom of the zone.
Mercedes-Benz tracking that one. Goes in there again, didn't get the call. 2-1 to the selective Eric Hosmer. '93 RBIs last year.
I think it was as short as 2012, and we used to sit up here and go, oh my goodness. Drew Storm was letting guys run like crazy. Tyler Clippard, Stephen Strasburg.
Yeah.
There was no attention to the running game at all because Davey Johnson didn't care. His theory was, let them steal third. My pitchers are so good, they're not going to score anyways. But teams used to run wild on the Nationals in 11 and 12.
Nats have only given up 6 stolen bases this year. And that's 6 out of 11. Three and 2 now. So a very speedy runner. Fast enough to have 90 career steals, will be off and running here. On a full count pitch, 2 outs. Boy, it's a tight zone. And Gio walks Hosmer again with Alex Gordon coming up. Big right-handed, pardon me, Morales, Gordon next. Big, strong right-handed DH. Andres Morales hit that ball. That was about 3 feet short of tying this game, ending the first inning.
Maybe with Eric Hosmer's 18-game hitting streak and a twofer with a homer yesterday, the meeting before the game was he's not going to beat us.
Even lefty-lefty, huh?
Yeah. We'll see.
Morales came into this game 0 for 7. He's 2 for 9 career against Gio, who gets that backdoor breaking ball to drop in.
The Blues score?
They used to have an NHL team here.
They did?
The Kansas City Scouts were an expansion team.
They have pins on their uniforms.
A lot of merit badges for goals. They used to have an NBA team here too. Going to third and out. Lobaton guns out Lorenzo Cain for the 3rd out of the inning with their cleanup man in the batter's box.
And even if you miss the tag, it doesn't matter because there's no replay right now. Both systems down. I think he got him. Nice throw. Yeah.
Back to real baseball,
yes.
folks.
Lorenzo Cain tried to steal right there. This is how they play. And down by 2 with a guy that can hit a home run in the box, Cain tries to steal third. They won a World Series. You can't argue with the play. This is their brand of baseball. But without replay, I mean, did he tag him? Was it close? Looked like he tagged him, but we couldn't have gone to break. We'd had to wait around another 30 seconds to see if Ned Yost was going to appeal. He might have. They would have checked in the Royals clubhouse at least. So old school baseball. You throw him out, he's out. We go to break. We come back, we're playing.
I thought Cain literally took the tag off the chin right there.
But my point is, Clark, you can't argue with that brand of baseball. That's how they play here. They live and die with it. They have a ring to prove it works. And, you know, the rule is never make the third out at third. Down by 2, let your power hitter hit. But hey, it has worked for these guys, and they're all on their own, I was told. There's no steal signs here. They run on their own.
Yeah, it's worked a lot more than it's failed here. Kansas City Royals winning the whole thing last year. They stole 104 bases, number 2 behind Houston, who had 121.
I mean, if they were a last place team, you'd say, what in the world are they doing? But they have a ring, and that's all you need to say.
Breaking ball, front door stays up and into Ryan Zimmerman. Top of the 4th underway. Ryan, the big blow of the game. The RBI double over the head of Paulo Orlando, who's playing him a little deeper this time than he was with runners at first and second. Now Zimmerman stepping out. Runs back to catch the corner. Ryan didn't like it.
I'll tell you what, of all the guys that have had calls go against him on this trip, Ryan Zimmerman's leading the pack. Not that they're balls, but every borderline call has gone for the pitcher.
2-2 now. That one runs way inside. Ryan's now been on base 17 of his last 20 games. 8 RBIs on the year with that double. His 4th of the year to go with a home run. Hits it hard the other way. Eric Hosmer, great hands over there.
Celebrate the 2015 National League MVP with a Bryce Harper MVP bobblehead that's presented by SAIC Wednesday, May 11th, 7:05 start against the Tigers. For tickets, visit nationals.com. First 25,000 fans, you get that.
The ball hard hit. Bryce got a pretty good piece of a fly ball to end the 3rd. Here's Murphy. Ground ball to Hosmer, the 3-time Gold Glove winner, for an RBI right after Zimmerman's double, and that gave the Nationals their 2-0 lead. 2-2-0 Washington, 0-1-0 Kansas City. Strike call. Murph's like, okay, let's just not see that on the outside edge.
I just want to mic up Daniel Murphy, because
that'd be great.
He has so many things to say to umpires after almost every pitch. Watch, here we go, watch.
Now see, there's that other side of the plate.
But watch. I think that's a little down right there.
Murph should be an umpire when he retires.
But I think the way he says it, it's so polite that even though he's turning around talking to him, they're not sticking it to him.
0-2. And by the way, Murphy with that ground ball, 5 straight games with an RBI. So some decent ownage here. Neither pitcher is having any quick innings tonight. Volquez had one in the 3rd, pretty quick in the 2nd, but the pitch counts are mounting on these guys. Murphy hits it hard. Another base hit. Daniel Murphy, 32nd hit of the year. That's in the top 5 in the league, and he's aboard with 1 out.
I mean, I'm going to say after every hit, I don't care. It's Daniel hits Murphy. Look where the location of that pitch is. I mean, he missed. He wanted away, but it was down. It was in. He drops the barrel to it. Simple approach. 1 more hit for 1,000 for Daniel hits Murphy.
Yeah. Not expected to take long. .32 hits in 87 at bats for the Nats. Here's Worth, who struck out on off speed first time. And Jason goes up hacking this time. Short center. Infante waiting for Kane, who calls everybody off. 2 outs. Bringing it to Stephen Drew here.
See if Daniel Murphy can pad his league lead on throwovers here. I mean, he's got 1 million already. He told me the other day, I said, hey, you were leading the league in throwovers. He said, I'm not going anywhere. I don't know why they're throwing over.
They're mad at him for getting another hit.
You're right. I think they
want to pick him off.
Some frustration in that.
Drew to Hosmer, right at the bag. Inning over in the top half of the 4th. So the Nats have 3 hits. They've stranded 2 and lead by 2. Fourth inning of Nationals baseball, brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com tonight. There's Arrowhead Stadium in the background of Kauffman Stadium. All lit up along Interstate 70 east of downtown Kansas City. So some more umpire stuff here.
Watch Manny Gonzalez saying that, watch, it's still out. He looks over to Ned Yost, gives a sign right here. No replay still. We're flying blind. No instruments.
Yeah. Visual flight rules as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Kendrys Morales was at the plate when Kane was gunned up by Jose Lobaton. And for Lobaton, 1 for 2 on the year against opposing base runners. Wilson Ramos has been good in that department. Ramos 4 for 8. Gio not commanding the strike zone tonight like he has recently. Coming into this inning, only about 52% strikes. They're shifted over there, and that's Espinosa to his left, and Danny always has the gun to make up a step or 2. 1 out. Now the last 4 outs have come on 3 ground balls and the caught stealing.
But I think when you talk about 2016 Gio Gonzalez, and maybe not with his best stuff tonight. The whole mental side, the sports psychology side, the focus. He's staying in the game. He's keeping his team ahead 2-0, where in past years maybe it kind of gets away from him a little bit.
Yeah.
And tonight, even though he's not pounding the zone, he's done a nice job of allowing one hit to this point.
Get a new baseball and a new bat after that foul by Alex Gordon. Gordon, 32 years of age. Royals re-signed him this past January. Right in there. He had a left groin strain that limited him to 104 games last year, but he was healthy for the playoffs, and he had 13 postseason hits. Plays a great left field. 4 Gold Gloves. Won the Platinum Glove 2 years ago as the best overall defensive player. Did he go? Jim Reynolds says no.
And I think it's good for baseball they stayed in Kansas City. See it from the side? Good call.
Yeah, you hate it when a team wins it all and then they have to dismantle the team. That's maybe another busted bat. Zimmerman to Gio. 2 outs. So they're coming. The outs are on the ground now with Salvador Perez coming up.
Harris Teeter Family Fun Packs are back. They're now available Thursdays through Sundays at Nats Park. Get a hit ticket or a hiccup, hot dog, chips, and a Coca-Cola. Dasani beverage start at just $15. Some restrictions apply. Visit nationals.com/family. They're going to be there, and they want some hot dogs, chips, and a Coca-Cola or a Dasani beverage for just $15.
Familiar faces, spring training and on the road following the Nats.
It's a good-looking crew.
Salvador Perez popped up short left field. Danny Espinosa ran it down first time. Another ground ball. Rendon waits for it. Low throw.
Wow.
Unbelievable pick by Ryan Zimmerman. Just saved Anthony Rendon in throwing error. And better than that, gave Gio a really quick bottom of the 4th.
I'll say it again. Wow. Brought to you by Cox's new Contour. Get right to the good stuff. 2-0 as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Ryan Zimmerman 1 for 2 with a double. There it is. Stays on a changeup, down, drives it over Orlando's head in right field. That would score Michael A. Taylor, who led the ball game off with a walk. And how about that pick? Come on. Anthony Rendon loving his first baseman. That's worth, I don't know, some ribs since we're in Kansas City. Dinner?
Absolutely.
That was a gnarly pick. That's not easy.
You know, and Ryan was always very honest about Adam LaRoche being over there, saving him a few. So Ryan's returning the favor to a lot of these guys. Top of the 5th inning. Lobaton, Espinosa, and Taylor. By the way, that was an 8-pitch inning for Gio Gonzalez, who suddenly has 5 ground ball outs, and FP will tell you why next half inning. Good take by Jose. Counts even 1-1.
Yeah, LaRoche just gave you confidence that you didn't have to worry about anything.
Get it close.
Get it close.
Lobaton, hot shot, base hit. Jose Lobaton, 6th hit of the year. The one in St. Louis yesterday led to the go-ahead run in the 6th when he went the opposite way.
A little celebration by Jose Lobaton at first. Hooray. Did you see that? I mean, hit that ball hard his first time up to deep left center field. This time a ground ball. Got it by Hosmer, who's got a lot of range over there, and the boys are having a good time at first. Here we go. Yay!
Ball was hard hit, he says. It got through.
Let's talk about make baseball fun again. Jose Lobaton has fun every single time he plays.
There's Espinosa, tried to bunt his way aboard first time. Salvador Perez keeps it close. So the Nationals have out-hit the Royals now 4-1. First inning RBIs, the Zimmerman double, the Murphy ground ball holding up so far. That one just missing. Big time difference in the count for Danny.
I'll tell you what, if there were monsters the size of Godzilla that were going to come into this ballpark, that would be one right there. Look at that. That's the biggest beard I've ever seen coming right at you.
Espinosa right through the box, and the Nats put hits together for the first time tonight.
It's because we showed the beard, man. Rally beard.
Bottom of the order in the American League. No pitcher hitting.
Boy, I want to see the velocity on this one. This is a bolt right back up the middle. Look out. Low line drive. Danny Espinosa heating up, folks. Boom. Right back up the middle.
Danny in St. Louis, 3 hits and 11 at bats.
Well, I was about to say first and second, nobody out for the pitcher to bunt him over, but we're playing an American League game.
Exactly. So Espinosa. That's why guys with speed will bat 9th in the American League ballparks. And here's Michael A. Taylor at the top of the order. No sign of bunting, and the fastball just high.
103 on that line drive, I'm being told.
I'm pretty sure Edinson Volquez heard it go by.
Power of the beard, man.
Yeah. Just the thought of it, even though he's clean shaven, right?
It's like a beard monster coming in from center field.
Taylor a walk, a steal, a run, and a bunt ground out. Can't catch up with the curveball. Nissan will track it.
Nasty change right here.
Yeah, you're right. That's a straight change.
84.
Rendon, Harper, Zimmerman, the next 3. A hit here could really make this a different ball game. Front door on the breaking pitch, 2-1.
Tough to live behind in the count like Volquez has all night long. He does have that secret weapon changeup in his back pocket in hitters' counts that he's thrown, but Taylor in the driver's seat. Long look.
Way inside.
So on his next home run, I want you to change the call.
I'm listening.
Just change the L and later to T and say see you Tater.
See you Tater.
Yeah.
If he hits one right here, you got it.
You got it? All right. That'd be something. He's thinking it.
And the next time you say, "Are you kidding me?" I want you to say, "Are you pulling my leg?"
Okay. Well, he's just swinging with the count right there. 3-1. He was thinking the same thing we were.
Yeah.
Look at Dusty Baker in the background. Did you see the skipper's reaction?
Three-two, nobody out. 2 runners aboard. Time called.
Dusty knew that was bases loaded, nobody out, but Michael Taylor being aggressive, he was trying to do damage. And a lot of times as a hitter, when I say you're swinging with the count, you're just assuming because it's 3-1, he's going to lay a cookie right in there for you. And you're predetermining that I'm going to swing at this pitch no matter where it is. And that wasn't close.
Up the middle. And the shortstop plays it himself. Escobar turns the 6-3. Potential rally killer. We'll see if Rendon can save the inning.
Yeah, you go from a potential bases loaded, nobody out situation to runner on third, 2 outs. And maybe the frustration was the difference in the double play, holding onto that bat for 4 steps.
That was big. Anthony Rendon, a base hit to right center first inning, and he scored. Fly ball to right in the 3rd. Still stuck on 1 RBI for the year. Part of that is the leadoff spot not being on in front of him a whole lot. This is Anthony's 99th at bat of the season, if it turns out to be an official AB, and he has 24 hits. Bryce would love to get up there with maybe a run home, another guy on base. That runner is Lobaton, who led off the inning with a single to right. Front door breaking ball. Rendon out to center, and the ball stays in the air for Lorenzo Cain to run it down. Inning starting in promising fashion, and the double play hurt.
Here in Kansas City, one question mark coming into this year was how Ryan Zimmerman was going to respond health-wise after dealing with plantar fasciitis for much of last season. I talked to Zim today, and he essentially told me so far so good. He feels great as far as that foot goes. He's really glad he doesn't have to talk about it on an everyday basis anymore. He said he had a feeling it would respond well this season. They managed it wisely in spring training with Dusty Baker giving Zim a lot of time off, and even giving Zim periodic days off during the season. Dusty said he's planning on DHing Ryan on Wednesday. He's gone first to third at times. He's been booking it down the line. He feels great health-wise, guys, so far this season.
Great news. His first base play has been stellar. That's Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
He's got a booking it down first in there, too. That was nice.
Here's Omar Infante. And Gio evens the count on his 70th pitch. 70 pitches, 41 strikes. You hope he continues the trend of the quicker outs now that he's got that sinker going. And you'll take that one on the infield as well. Murphy under the pop-up. First out, bottom of the fifth. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. First 24 games of the season, it is no comparison whatsoever to the 16 more errors the Nats had made at this time of the year. And the unearned runs are way, way, way down. .973 fielding percentage. That was a rough way to start. There's Christian Colon, the third baseman.
Well, a lot of that was due to Ian Desmond's rough starts. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And he always had a month where he had to settle into the season, and he would make a bunch of errors in April and then make 10 the rest of the season. And on top of that, as a player, when you see one guy making them, they become contagious. You sit there and go, oh gosh, I don't want to do that. And then it's in your head. You start to think about it because you're seeing it a lot.
And it can be demoralizing to a pitching staff. Max Scherzer thought he had a win on opening day that was taken away in that fashion. 2 balls and 1 strike to Colon. Fly ball to Taylor first time. Bouncing ball up the middle. Danny Espinosa. Nice big hop. 2 outs. 6 ground ball outs for Gio in the last 2 2/3.
Tex Masson's word of the day, speak. Oh, they got rid of the scramble. See, we're having too much fun. The 29292, your chance to win a Nats prize pack from Masson. That's speak. If my dog's listening at home, speak to 29292. It's brought to you by Cox's new Contour. Get right to the good stuff.
Or peaks if you want to scramble.
Sit.
Here's Paulo Orlando. Tried to bunt his way aboard. Gio's throw hit him, but he was not running in the running lane. He was in fair territory. He was called out on interference. First out, third inning at that point. Here we are, 2 outs in the 5th. Wow, big crowd here tonight. Royals coming back from a rough road trip, but this blue-clad crowd happy to see them back.
Monday night, great crowd. This is awesome.
I know.
I will say that, speaking of Ian Desmond, you remember when he hit that ball off the Hall of Fame in left field there?
Yeah.
One of the farthest bombs I've seen. Off the glass in left field.
Kauffman Stadium, by the way, holds 37,903. Ballpark opening in 1973. Timeless beauty here, really.
It is.
I still remember that hill up there in left field. Bo Jackson used to hit home runs 3/4 of the way up that thing. And that is to the right side. Orlando stayed on that breaking ball well as Gio brought it in from off the plate. And the Royals have their second base hit. Top of the order, Alcides Escobar. And that's about all that's left of the hill. I mean, that was a green expanse from the left field foul pole all the way out to the fountains in left center. They filled it in beautifully with the Hall of Fame and all the other amenities out there in left center. But Bo would hit them and they'd plug and just stay there 3/4 of the way up the hill until an usher went to retrieve it. Escobar pops one up. That's out of play.
Maybe the greatest athlete ever, huh?
Hard to argue against it.
I mean, Dion was a two-sport guy, but Bo was a force in both sports.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
yeah, Dion had no power, but he was so fast.
So fast, he could change the game just by getting on base. Tremendous shutdown corner. But Bo Jackson is a running back and running over people and then hitting balls where nobody else had seen him and running up walls to make plays and throwing people out from the warning track.
Yeah.
Freak.
Well, time given. There's a story that circulated around this ballpark for a long time that the great Buck O'Neill was here one day, just chatting with some folks in the dugout, and all of a sudden, sitting in the dugout, he stood up and just froze because he said he heard a sound from the batting cage out here during BP that he hadn't heard before. There's his seat, his red seat, and that was Bo Jackson taking batting practice. That's foul.
Sound like that?
I think louder.
Yeah, I mean, he did. It had a different sound.
Buck O'Neill's seat, the Negro League Hall of Fame, is here. I know the Nats have been working to try to organize a team trip over there, possibly tomorrow. Oh, 0-2 pitch. This ball drilled high left center. Taylor tracking it right onto the track to grab it. Gio, who has given up one homer this year, keeping the Royals in their yard. Two 2-0 Nationals. There's Clint Robinson, who hit the big homer in St. Louis yesterday. Tonight, big RBIs from Zimmerman and Murphy early. Gio continuing the trend of great starting pitching for Dusty. who looks out and sees Bryce Harper leading off top 6. Zimmerman, Murphy to follow. 72 pitches so far for Volquez, 45 strikes. Breaking ball, and Bryce fouls it. Nats box. Taylor walked to lead off the game, stole a base. Rendon single. Zimmerman double, Murphy grounder. Since then, 1 out hit, Murphy in the 4th. Back-to-back hits leading off the 5th, Lobaton and Espinoza. But the Taylor double play ball on a 3-2 count took care of that rally. Harper to the left side, off the end of the bat. Maybe that's what it'll take. Going the other way, Bryce drops one in, and that breaks an 0 for 16. And I'm not sure Bryce has ever had an 0 for 16 in the major leagues, but now it's over.
Well, you go for a period of time where you're in a little bit of a scuffle. I don't care who you are. The greatest players that ever played this game have gone 0 for 16. And it all started with, I should say, back-to-back players of the month all started with a blooper to left.
Boy, these next 3 weeks are really going to be good, huh?
He's due.
Here's Zimmerman. Ryan 1 for 2. He's hit the ball the other way twice. And as they continue to shade him up the middle, why not?
Hey, when you're a great player and you could tread water with a blooper here, blooper there until you find it again, you don't care what they look like. I mean, obviously you like to be locked in for 6 months, but name me a guy that's been locked in for 6 months.
Other than Ted Williams. He probably had a few 0 for 10s, 15s in there.
But even last year there was a time when Bryce had the bad knee and he couldn't stay on his back leg and he went through a little scuffle.
Harper running. Perez throw. Out! Bryce is pointing to the dugout, but there are no challenges tonight.
I think they put him back on, Carp.
Well, they got it back on now, so we'll see. That was some make-up throw by Perez.
You didn't hear it, but they made an announcement between innings that replays back. See Bryce peeking in. I thought he was safe. They tagged him on the backside. His hand looked like it reached. We'll see. And they're not going to review it.
Well, they're used to this around here from their catcher.
Yeah, he got him. Boy, it was close.
Boy, I thought he had a great jump, and Perez guns out his 10th would-be base stealer of the season. 2-4 on the out, by the way. To Infante. Ryan Zimmerman now, a count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Yes, he did, says Manny Gonzalez. Breaking ball, unreachable, but he evidently enough to foul tip it, so Ryan's still alive. Nationals have out hit the Royals 6-2. 2-0 lead, top of the 6th. Volquez, 82 career wins, 69 losses. And he gets that one by Ryan Zimmerman. First strikeout since the second inning. Here's Dan with more.
Dusty Baker managed Edison Volquez for a few years in Cincinnati, and they developed a pretty good relationship. Dusty said earlier today, he's like one of my sons. I love him. He's one of my son's favorite players as well. Dusty kind of had a moment of self-awareness. He said, I know I talk about a lot of former players like that. I've got a lot of guys who are, it's as if they're my sons, and I could give you guys a million cracks at what Dusty Baker's nickname was for Edison Volquez is. You could never guess it. He called him Good Time Charlie. I have no idea why, other than Dusty said he used to have a great time in Cincinnati.
Well, Volquez in those years with Cincinnati went 17-6. Then he was hurt a couple of years. 4-2, 4-3, 5-7. Before moving on to San Diego, the Dodgers, the Pirates, and now the Royals. So when he was healthy, he was very good. Murphy cranks one foul. Been a while since Daniels left the yard. He has hit 2 homers with 13 RBIs.
But foul pole comes in a hurry down the right field line.
Yeah.
It gets steep there after the fence stops at the bullpen.
George Brett used to hit doubles into that right field corner, and they'd roll around that curve of the wall and sometimes turn into triples.
With AstroTurf.
And Willie Wilson 4 bags if he did it. A little bit up. George Brett, number 5, still active with the ball club. I think that number 10 was Dick Hauser, the great manager who won the '85 series with them. Murphy cranks this one to center. Kane going back. It has it go off his glove out near the 400 mark. And Daniel Murphy should be checking in with his 9th double of the year.
I'll tell you what, they're going to rule that a double. It's the right call, but Lorenzo Cain cruised on this baseball. I don't know if it's because the Royals got in late last night from Seattle or not, but Murphy pures this. Boom. And watch Cain just kind of go into cruise control mode here at the end.
Oops.
And it's off his glove, and maybe it's to the backhand thing we've talked about before where he blocks his vision with his arm. Anytime you go to the backhand for a line drive or a fly ball as an outfielder, there's a second where the ball crosses and you're blocking your vision with your arm. Daniel hits Murphy with his 1,000th hit. Congratulations.
Fittingly a double.
Fittingly a double.
So Daniel Murphy, 237 of his hits, 2 baggers.
I mean, I used to love to watch him play as a Met, and now we get to see him every day. I mean, it's been a pleasure.
Well, let's see if Worth can get him home with 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Murphy, another multi-hit game, his 12th of the year, tying him for the league lead with Starling Marte of the Pirates. Manny Machado of the Orioles, the other guy in baseball, with 12. A little bit low. Mercedes-Benz will have a look. Could have gone either way.
Well, it's the presentation. Perez took that out of the zone. He went with the pitch down. We talk about Jose Lobaton's stick in the landing, how he catches that low ball as good as anybody. Perez's glove moved down when he caught it, and it presented it as out of the zone. And that's odd for him because he's as good as anybody with framing. Francisco Cervelli's the best.
2-1. And the off speed in the dirt.
I saw some stat today where Cervelli got 241 strike calls on borderline pitches last year for the Pirates.
That's unbelievable.
And if Jose Lobaton played every day, he'd be right up there, trust me.
3-1 to Worth. Just foul. That ball was hit so hard it might have been fair over the bag and foul by the time it landed.
Alex Gordon wasn't buying it. He was playing that like it was live. He was going hard down the corner. He didn't know.
Well, he'll have to go pick it up again, or somebody will. His throw into the seats dropped. Jason, an RBI machine over the weekend in St. Louis, driving in 5 of the Nationals' 17 runs in that series. Another Jason Worth souvenir in the state of Missouri. Bats, balls. 3-2, 2 outs. Volquez wants Perez to come out.
Well, I think that was a fastball that Worth just hit. I'd be shocked if he gets it again. Starting to heat up. He's hitting the ball well. Stephen Drew on deck. A strikeout and a ground out. And I just saw Salvador Perez look at the on deck circle, so we'll see if this is a fastball. Change up.
Yeah, change up. I mean, guys bend their knees, they extend their arms, and they still can't get to that thing. Volquez keeping his team in the game.
Show you some Geico highlights, some defense, right? 2-0 game, a lot of leather being flashed. Bryce Harper with a nice running catch. This one's your Geico game changer. Lorenzo Cain making the third out at third. And how about this pick? Watch the second look we're going to give you. Wow. Boom. A lot of goalies in the NHL wish they could make that save. Glove save and a beauty by Ryan Zimmerman.
Royals box score. Walk to Hosmer in the first and the third. Gordon hit by a pitch leading off the second. The hits from Lorenzo Cain in the third. Before that, caught stealing. And Paulo Orlando with 2 outs in the fifth. A harmless single to right field.
Well, this is a huge inning for Gio. Third time around. Big boys coming up. 2-0 lead. You give up 2 hits to this point. And here we go.
Gives Cain another curveball. Counts even 1-1 to Lorenzo. 1 for 2. 5-game hitting streak for him. 7 for his last 19. Foul right side. Gio, career 3-3. 9th start against Kansas City. 2-2 pitch, and he got him. That ball diving down and into Lorenzo Cain. Gio Gonzalez, yes, first strikeout of the game.
The focused Gio Gonzalez. He told me between starts he wants to be an all-star this year. That's one of his goals. And he's pitching like it. He's focused. He's in command of every game he's been in. There's no weird stuff going on around him. He's got confidence from his manager, which I don't think he had last year. And that's huge.
He's walked Hosmer twice. Inside with the heater. Eric Hosmer had only walked 6 times in 93 at-bats before tonight. He got the upper part of the strike zone toward the outside edge. So 13 pitches seen his first 2 ABs. On base percentage .374 coming in for their Gold Glove first baseman, and he beats the shift. Murphy was playing him way to pull, and Hosmer has a 1-out hit. He's on for the 3rd time.
You know what I just thought of? Nobody got that ball for Daniel Murphy.
I was wondering that after the double. I didn't see where it ended up.
It didn't end up in the dugout. And he was asking for it on second base, and nobody got it for him. That's your 1000th hit. That's one that goes in the trophy case.
Well, maybe they have an authenticator here who would be able to tell that's his unless it got thrown into the stands. So here's Kendrys Morales with a fly ball to left and a ground ball to short. It's the best DH in the American League last year with 106 RBIs. Base hit.
Well, you had a feeling this was going to be the inning if they were going to mount a comeback. 3rd time through, you're getting an idea of his stuff. You're getting a feel for the release point, the rotation on the ball. And now a couple of base hits in a row, albeit ground balls.
Yeah.
Gio getting ground balls, just not right at anybody.
Well, here's a number for you, a stat if you will. 33 innings of pitching on this road trip. That's only the 6th time the Nats have given up 2 hits in an inning. They have really limited any damage to this point.
And I guarantee you, Carp, everybody just went to the mound and said, hey, you're getting your ground balls. Just get one more. It'll be at somebody. You're doing your job.
Alex Gordon, the hitter. He has bounced into 3 double plays this year. Espinosa plays him up the middle. Murphy ranked pole position. Zimmerman, of course, behind the runner. Not far off the line. Foul ball over there right past Rusty Kuntz, their first base coach. Sammy Solis as the bullpen gets
That's
moving.
the 3rd bat that Alex Gordon has broke tonight. He just went back, got a new one.
He had 2 the last at bat before he bounced out to Zimmerman. Big crowd making lots of noise here. Right before the late innings are upon us. Doesn't really matter which side of the plate this year, the way he's going. Staying in there and not getting the call. It's 2-1. Place will go crazy if Salvador Perez walks up with the bases loaded. So it's 3-1 with 1 out. Chopper right side. Zimmerman. Ball twisted foul before he could get there.
I'll tell you what, Alex Gordon's really coming around the baseball. He's hit the ball on the ground to the right side about 5 times foul tonight. He grounded out to Zimmerman last time up, and his swing, he's really casting his hands out, which means he's making for a long swing right now. That's why I see Gio Gonzalez and Jose Lobaton trying to bust him in.
Three-2 again. And that's another busted bat. Bryce Harper has it. Runners will hold, 2 outs.
Yeah, he's just casting his hands out. What I mean by that is you want to keep your hands close to your body. That's what I talk about when you have a short swing. Then your barrel trails. But when you cast your hands out, now you're making for a long swing. You're coming around the ball. And that's why he's hitting the ball on the trademark or even closer to his hands. Look how he's coming around the baseball. He's way out in front. It means his front side's flying open. His hands are going toward the Nats dugout first and then back around the baseball. And that makes for a long swing, and Gio's taken advantage of it a couple of times tonight.
Perez 0 for 2. Fly ball short left, caught by Espinosa. Ground ball to Rendon. Has the most RBIs of anybody in the Royals lineup tonight, 14. Their left-handed masher, Mike Moustakas, on the bench tonight against the left-hander Gio. He has 11.
Salvador Perez just called timeout to Gio. Did you see that? He took his left hand off the bat, asked for time to Gio, then to Manny Gonzalez.
That's a beauty to the outside edge. Backdoor curveball. Counts even 1-1. Nissan will track it.
Yes, all around the plate. Whoop.
Second most pitches Gio's thrown this year. 108 his last time out. 6 1/3 against the Phils. And the fastball got him on the hands. Taylor is there. And if that's the end of the line for Gio tonight, all he did was put zeros on the board 6 times.
About during the break, the effect that Mike Maddox has had on Gio Gonzalez. He's a different guy. We're talking on the road, hostile environment, defending World Series champs, back-to-back AL champs. The place is getting loud, and he just is calm as can be on the mound. Look at the numbers between Gio and Edinson Volquez tonight. But it's a different guy. I mean, he is not rattled at all by any situation, what goes on behind him. He's focused, he's calm. Dusty Baker effect, Mike Maddox effect. Whatever. Gio being a dad for the first time, I don't know, but what we've seen this year from Gio Gonzalez has been amazing.
Well said and well done, Gio. 102 pitches, 61 strikes. He has found out you don't have to strike guys out to be great.
And that you can control the situation and can control what you can control on the mound as far as the whole focus, the breathing, the mental side of the game, the sports psychology side of it. Just, I mean, like I said, a different guy. It's been fun to watch.
All right, time to add on. Top of the 7th. Volquez will get around 100 or more this inning. Drew, very close. Swinging strikeout to lead off the 2nd. Ground ball to Hosmer, last out of the 4th inning. Don't forget to check in on our buddies in Woodbridge. Potomac Nationals will be back in town May 5th through the 8th. Kids run the bases Friday, fireworks Saturday. Salute to moms on Sunday. PotomacNationals.com.
Kids like fireworks on the bases would be way better. Right?
Limit 1 bottle rocket per person.
Let them all run around with fireworks.
So Danny Duffy is the left-hander. Joaquim Soria is the righty. Dave Island, by the way, their pitching coach, alongside Ned Yost. Royals are 13 and 11. They're 4 back of the very surprising Chicago White Sox in the Central. In fact, the Tigers are between those two teams. Detroit's won 5 in a row. They're 14 and 10 going into this night. And Chicago 18 and 8. Two. Drew battling. He won't wave at that fastball up and away. Yeah, the Cubs won again, 7-2 at Pittsburgh.
That's
18 and 6.
That's a good series. 7-2.
Hamill beat Cole. Nets will be there Thursday night. Yeah, Drew enhancing his chances of a base on balls or a hit here.
We'll actually be there Wednesday night, which it's good that we're in Kansas City because we'll get our sleep here and then we move on to the Windy City.
But enough about you and Dan. And then another day game on Sunday to wrap up the road trip.
Poor Dan.
3-2 with nobody out. Target away. Foul tip and the strikeout on a mid-90s heater. Strikeout number 6 for Volquez. In fact, his last 3 outs on swinging strikeouts.
Well, you know what Rex Hudler's saying next door about Edinson Volquez after the first inning. He's really settled down. His last start, he gave up 8 runs on 12 hits. He's doing a whale of a job keeping his ball club in this game. You see the 29 pitch first and then settling down 8-7 13 15 19 and 8.
There's Jose Lobaton, 1 for 2. Fly ball to center. Base hit to right. Curveball. Strike 1. Another one. That'll be easy for Eric Hosmer. 2 down. Next up here, top 7, Danny Espinosa.
You talk about the Nats sweeping the Cardinals. They're coming here. The Royals have lost 5 of 6. The Cubs are playing against their new rivals in the division, the Pirates. They've had some heated matchups over the last couple of years, and the play-in game last year where the Pirates thought Jake Arrieta was throwing at a few guys, and so they play that high intense series before the Nats get them. So it's lining up is what I'm trying to say.
Mets won again tonight. They broke their 1-game losing streak. 16-8 they are. Beat the Braves 4-1. And this is a chopper up the middle for Omar Infante. And it's getting to the end of the line for Edinson Volquez. This pitching matchup as good as advertised. Here comes Solis.
Okay, they've seen all he's got. This is going to be tough. He strikes out Lorenzo Cain, then base hit by Eric Hosmer, base hit by Kendrys Morales, and then Alex Gordon breaks his bat on a fly ball to right. I mean, the place is starting to get loud. Hostile environment. Defending World Series champs gets a couple of big outs. That ends 6 shutout innings for Gio Gonzalez. 102 pitches, 61 for strikes, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. It's time for Toyota Keys for Kids at Washington area Toyota dealers. Want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Sammy Solis for the Nats. He's been bringing it. 3rd appearance, 2 2/3, couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, bringing it. Fastball's averaging 95 miles an hour bringing it.
Omar Infante takes a strike.
Curveball 83, changeup 86.
Yeah, called up when Matt Belisle went on the DL prior to the start of the road trip. Man, Dusty Baker has thrown him right into the fire in 2 tough ballparks. Overpowers the hitter there with a pop fly to right for Bryce Harper. Infante 0 for 3. 1 out, bottom of the 7th.
Come out to the ballpark on Play Ball Weekend, May 14th and 15th, and that celebrate all forms of youth baseball and softball. For more information on Play Ball Weekend activities and to get your tickets, visit nationals.com/tickets. It just feels like, Carp, that Sammy Solis is finally realizing how good he is. And he's pretty good. You got a lefty that throws 95, 96 at your disposal.
18 games last year. 24 innings. He struck out 19 in mostly situational pitching against lefties. But right here on the road, Dusty Baker trusting him with an entire inning with the ball club up by 2. He's gone 2-0 on Christian Colon. Chopper. Solis over to get it. Calmly picks it up to Zimmerman. 2 outs. Paulo Orlando, the right fielder now.
Steven Strasburg in the background there. The last 6 starts for the Nats pitchers, their ERA is 0.92.
Man,
I mean, that's
Strasburg here Wednesday, by the way. 10 a row arc tomorrow night. And Orlando pops one up. Short left center. Taylor. This one going to the 8th inning. Again, I say it is not this easy. We're seeing amazing pitching. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. To the top of the 8th inning, Edinson Volquez still in the game. 103 pitches, 65 strikes. But as FP often says, where's the stress? Where are the tough innings? He really hasn't had one since the first.
She changing jerseys, going with her Bryce Harper over her Royals jersey.
It's never too late.
I mean, that's taking, I'm a front runner to a whole new deal. Oh, she's a Nats fan. There you go.
Taylor 0 for 2. Double play ball, a bunt, a walk, a steal, and a run.
Met so many Nats fans that are doing this whole road trip. They went to St. Louis, they're coming here, and they're going to Chicago. And if you're going to pick one out, I guess every year, this would be the one, right?
As I think about the road trips that we have made over the years and some of the difficult travel scenarios, this might be the best geographic trip the Nats have ever taken. I mean, 3 cities within about 500 miles of each other.
And you know the key for the players that nobody's really discussing, it's all in the same time zone. When you do the 3 time zone or 2 different time zone thing as a player, it gets you all out of whack, and you adjust to 1 hour difference. You're set. You're locked in for the whole trip. That's when a road trip gets tough. When you go central, West Coast, then back to the East Coast. Tanner Roark doing his homework.
Yeah. Charting, then starting.
Hand it in to Professor Maddox after the game, and he'll grade it.
Yep, Tanner goes tomorrow night against former Nat spring training pitcher Chris Young. Michael A. Taylor can't reach that hard breaking ball, and he's 0 for 3 tonight. For more on travel, here's our agent, Dan.
Thank you, Bob. I was actually talking with Matt Belisle yesterday. I spent part of last year with the Cardinals, and he brought up one thing that I never really considered before. And FP, you might have felt this way when you played, you might not have, but he said that playing in the Central Time Zone, he actually loved it because no trip was super far. You don't have to go coast to coast. You don't have the long, 6-hour flights that you do going from east to west. He felt that the travel was really a positive thing playing in the Central Division.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of the Nats coaches that have, Chris Spire, Dusty Baker, talking about the Central travel. You're kind of like, airports and airlines have hubs. The Central's the hub, and there's no flight longer than 4 hours. You either go to the East Coast or Denver, or even the West Coast is not that bad. So yeah, it's a good point. You play in Seattle, it wears you down. You play in Miami, it wears you down. Because every flight you take is 6 hours, 5 hours when you have to go on a long one. So yeah, good point.
And I don't know if it's legal to do this anymore, but Whitey Herzog, who managed in Kansas City and St. Louis, would sometimes send his team home to their families after the last game of a homestand and fly 9, 10 o'clock the next morning on a 1-hour trip somewhere. Even did that to the West Coast a couple of times.
Who we met yesterday, by the way.
He was
in our
gracious
booth.
enough to stop by and say hi.
It was great.
Whitey at the age of 84, still as sharp as a tack. He managed the Royals to a World Series here, and a championship 240 miles east of here. Royals were beaten by the Phillies back in 1980, their first series. Dallas Green at the helm of the Phils at that time. I was thinking Whitey had just departed, pardon me, for St. Louis at that time, and Jim Fry stepped in. Fry would also manage the Cubs. So they lost that first one, but 5 years later, they got their cross-state rivals. And nothing until 2 years ago when they were back, and they won the whole thing last year. Sean Kelly on your right side. Oliver Perez has already taken some tosses, so he's easing it out there. Rendon got jammed and pops it up out behind second. All right, here comes Bryce Harper. Bryce able to drop a single on a flare into left field last time up, and he will not be operating against a right-hander. You'll hear quite a walk-off for Edinson Volquez here after 7 2/3.
It's a nice bounce back for the right-hander after a tough outing last time, and the Royals fans got to give him a nice ovation.
7 hits, 2 runs in nearly 8 innings of work. And this call to the bullpen brought to you by the UPS Store. Together, there's nothing we can't solve. Visit the UPSstore.com for locations. Volquez. 7 2/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk. That was the first batter of the game. Struck out 7, got that double play ball. And now 27-year-old lefty Danny Duffy, who has spent his entire major league career with the Royals since 11, is on for his 12th appearance, 12 innings, 13 strikeouts.
Got a big fastball. It's averaging 96 this year. It was 93 last year, so up 3 miles an hour is Duffy's fastball. Slider, changeup to go with it. Bryce probably see fastball, slider.
Now, Stephen Drew, Ben Revere, the only Nats who've ever faced him. First base side of that rubber to even increase that angle. Ball 1. Misses with the curve. Ball 2. Bryce has been liking lefties.
This is where you push all your chips in the middle for a fastball too. A guy throws 97. You can't look for anything else. Catch one out front. I feel like everybody in the Royals bullpen throws 97.
That's nasty.
I don't think Chen Ming Wong throws 97, but this guy sure does. That was supposed to be the other side, but did you see how Salvador Perez framed it anyways? Got the call.
2-2 here in the 8th with 2 outs. Out on strikes. This one's going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Some baseball left here in Kansas City in a 2-0 game. On Masson, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA, and by University of Maryland University College.
Wait, are we in Pittsburgh?
No, that's downtown Kansas City, the mighty Missouri rolling by.
These cars are going too fast, brother.
They're trying to get in North Kansas City and right back out. So here's Sean Kelly, who takes over. A number of the Royals have seen him before.
You see the slider 61% of the time from Sean Kelly. So if you're a Royals hitter right now, you're probably looking for that. Fastball in the low 90s. Opponent's hitting 200 against the Nats right-hander. Here we go.
Yeah, 53 games with San Diego last year, but Mariners and Yankees in his big league career before that. And Alcides Escobar is 1 for 5 career against him. First pitch into the gap. And just like that, the Royals have their first extra base hit.
We got a first pitch slider from Sean Kelly. It's right down the middle. He was hacking all the way, got on top of it, drove it into the gap, and you're wondering, was this going to be a double or a triple? And Jason Worth just gets it in, and that stopped Escobar at second.
Lorenzo Cain is 1 for 3 with a homer and 2 RBIs career against Kelly. Cain 1 for 3 tonight. Caught stealing at third in the third inning. Well, that brought this ballpark alive. 32,394. Fastball up.
Well, with a 2-run lead, it's important to forget about the runner on second base and focus on the tying run at the plate. Espinosa trying to keep him close, but tension right here.
Couple of sliders fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Got a good fastball tonight. It's usually around 89, 90, and tonight it's sitting at 92, 93. So Sean Kelly fresh with the heater.
Runner at second, nobody out. Got him! Outer edge, low in the zone with 93.
I mean, perfectly placed fastball, and I don't know if there was something said between the two, but Lorenzo Cain had a long stare out at Sean Kelly after the perfectly placed fastball. I don't know if Kelly yelled something in there or what, but they made some serious eye contact. Let's give it a listen. What do you got? I don't think he said anything. Just a perfect pitch.
Gets an out, gives up a hit to the lefties now with Hosmer coming up. Well, Sean Kelly gives up the double to Escobar, bounces back, striking out Kane looking. And now it's Eric Hosmer against Oliver Perez. And Hosmer 2 for 5 career against him.
Yeah, fastball, slider, 2 pitches, fastball 91, slider 80, all kinds of different deliveries, arm angles.
Look out, 10th appearance, 3 ERA, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs.
I like that Sean Kelly trusted his fastball tonight. It was a good one. That last pitch was perfect on the black to Lorenzo Cain.
High heat for strike 2.
Man, Eric Hosmer's amped up right here, isn't he? He's thinking tie ball game. He wants to be the hero. And what kind of delivery are we going to see hero to? I'm calling back to the hitter deal. The Louis Tion delivery. Maybe a sidearm slider. Nope.
Goes with the heater. Hosmer goes, and he's down on strikes. 2 outs.
Sean Kelly digging it, and so are we. The drop down fastball from Oli Perez right there. Did you see the release point on this one? So he went standard delivery. There goes Hosmer on the swing. But a drop down fastball, and Sean Kelly in the dugout digging it. Fist pump.
Chris Heisey there too. So here's Kendrys Morales, and against Perez, career 0 for 1. Morales tonight 1 for 3, base hit to left last time. And Jose Lobaton corralling that frisbee so it doesn't get away. And that's important with 2 outs, not to have a runner at third with Perez out there who really relies on that big hook. Papelbon and Trinan. Dusty might want to stay away from Blake Trinan, who's thrown a lot of pitches this past weekend. And out here could take care of that, and that's strike 2. Pardon me, 1-1. Trinan yesterday, 20 pitches in St. Louis.
It's a large power zone.
Trinan threw 18 on Friday night there. 1-1. Right-handed hitter late. The 10 o'clock news is just coming on in the Midwest. But it's 11 for all of you back home. Staying up with us from Kansas City here. Quite a ball game. Gio was brilliant. The bullpen now trying to keep Kansas City off the board. 1-2 pitch. Right down the middle with a heater. The bullpen gives up a double and then strikes out the side, getting this one to the 9th. Oliver Perez and this bullpen almost as good lately as the starting rotation. tomorrow night. Game 2 of this series, Game 5 of the road trip. Tanner Roark, Chris Young. Tanner 2-2 with a 2.03. He's been great. 30 strikeouts in 31 innings. Chris Young is about 6'10", comes right over the top. 3-2, 2.75 ERA career against the Nats. Johnny and Ray in the studio. Nats Extra, Masson 2 tomorrow night. First pitch, top of the ninth, high and deep to left center from Zimmerman, and that ball's going to one-hop into the seats for a ground rule double. And my, is this yard playing big tonight?
I'll tell you what, Lorenzo Cain is either hurt or he didn't go after that ball, one or the other. I don't know if he thought this was gone, but watch the center fielder, folks. Watch him.
Wow, that's interesting.
He didn't even try for that baseball, so either thought that was 5 rows deep or he's hurt, and I don't know which one it is.
Well, as you mentioned, ran a route that wasn't his best on the Murphy double 3 innings ago. Ball glanced off his glove. Might have had some tailing action right at the end, but something's going on with Lorenzo Cain.
It's after some Yellowwood bringing the lumber, and Daniel hits Murphy. Had 1,000 of those hits in his career. We're going to show you the last one, number 1,000, a double. Just out of the reach of Lorenzo Cain. And I think he wants the baseball, and he's on second.
And we're told he got it.
He got it.
2 for 3 tonight. He got an RBI when he made an out. At least trying to advance Zimmerman here. But with that in mind, they're going to work him away. Ball 1. Right-handed hitting Jason Worth on deck. Nobody out. Top of the ninth. That'll advance the runner. It gets through, and Henley will hold Zimmerman. And Daniel Murphy has a 3-hit night.
And in case you were worried, and we were, about where Daniel Murphy's 1,000th hit went, watch the bottom left part of your screen. There it is. Wait, hold on. Manny Gonzalez has it. He takes it, throws it in the dugout, authenticate it. Everybody's happy.
Great game management by the home plate umpire. Daniel Murphy is now hitting .382, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
First and third, nobody out. Jason Worth, and the Nats could deal a knockout blow to the Royals right here. Infield in. Perez will go out and captain the infield defense here. And by the way, we've talked about the starters. They've been so fantastic. The 3 relievers tonight, Solis, Kelly, and Perez. Solis, 8 pitches, 6 strikes. Kelly, 6 pitches, 5 strikes. Perez, 7 pitches, 6 strikes. They're just not giving anything away. And Papelbon's ready for the bottom of this inning. Chopper by Worth. Zimmerman has to stay home at third. It's close at first. And the runner, Murphy, to second on the first out. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight are in the studio tonight with our Nats Extra postgame show presented by W.B. Mason. I'd like to get Ray's thoughts on him in his heyday, being able to hit this rotation right now. The way these guys are throwing.
Well, stick around, listen. I'll be in an Uber. Go ahead. Keep your headset on. I'll let you know. We're gonna have a pitching change here, huh?
Pinch hitter. Heisey for Drew. Chris Heisey facing Danny Duffy for the first time. He's been clutch off the bench and powerful with a couple of home runs. A chance to double the lead. Ball 1 low.
I'm trying to see who the right-hander is out there. Is it Chen Ming Wong? It is.
It is.
He's been loose, so I thought Hernandez might go to the right-hander to face.
And we hear he's been throwing a lot harder than he was when he was with the Nats. 1-0 pitch. Heisey thought high and tight. Gonzalez said strike one. Heisey has a pinch hitter, 2 for 4, and both of them home runs.
Well, in case you missed it yesterday, Chris Heisey off the bench put the sweep on ice. A bomb to left center field at Busch Stadium. Jose Lobaton appropriately taking the helmet off.
Now a battle here to make contact, get the Nats another run. Swing and a foul tip, 2 outs. It's up to Jose Lobaton, batting right-handed with 2 outs, and from this side of the plate, Jose on the year 0 for 6. One for 3 tonight, Jose, with an opposite field hit. Off speed first pitch. Ryan Zimmerman reading that ball low, came down the line quite a bit. So he's doing his preparation here, able to get a big lead with Cologne about 25 feet away at the third baseman. Two and 0. Zimmerman at third led off the inning with a double. Murphy had a base hit, third of the night.
All good arms in the Royals outfield, and they're cheating in on Jose Lobaton.
Ball 3 with Danny Espinosa on deck. And it takes the 2-out walk, bases loaded for Danny. Pretty good at bat by Lobaton, on for the second time tonight.
Good at bat, lines moving. Danny Espinosa going to try to catch one of those heaters out front and put this one on ice. See what happens.
Yeah, and Duffy might have to be careful with that changeup too here. Runner at third, 2 outs.
Well, the old adage is get beat with your best pitch in a big situation, and so far from what I've seen, 97-98's his best pitch.
We've got Espinosa played around to the right with Kane in center, Orlando in right. 2-0 Nationals, top of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs.
Whatever Danny Duffy said, it was enough for Salvador Perez to whip a quick U-turn.
30 RBIs for Danny with a bases loaded career. Nationals haven't scored since the first. Espinosa swing and a miss, and the bat goes between Ryan Zimmerman and Bob Henley.
Bottom hand came off. Pretty good toss.
Yeah.
Good distance.
Bat not carrying tonight either. Would have been ball 2, and now it's 1-2. Pretty nasty action on that changeup. Zimmerman, Murphy, Lobato. Now the Royals have some arms too, don't they? It's up to Jonathan Papelbon to see if the Nats can stay perfect on this road trip. But that's okay. Getting out contact outs, and back to the 8th inning we go.
How about the bullpen? Escobar with a leadoff double, then Sean Kelly bowing his neck and making a perfect pitch to Lorenzo Cain, and then bring on Ali Perez, and that's all he did was strike out their hottest hitter, Eric Hosmer, and then Kendrys Morales with a fastball in. So the line moves to Jonathan Papelbon for the 9th, and this place is about to get loud.
Alex Gordon facing Papelbon career 3 times with a base hit as you peruse Jonathan's numbers. Tonight Gordon 0 for 2, hit by a pitch back in the 2nd. First pitch inside edge. Papelbon gets the corner.
Showed you that 8th was so important to strand that leadoff double. 1-run game versus a 2-run game allows Jonathan Papelbon to go ahead and challenge some hitters a little more than he would if it were 2-1.
Took a little bit off and dropped it right in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
saw Jonathan Papelbon between pitches motion for Jose Lobaton to set up outside. I said, no, he wouldn't be doing that, would he? He did. Told him to set up outside. Gordon was looking down.
2-2 pitch.
See if he goes back to that changeup that he threw for strike two. That was a good one. It's a split change from Papelbon. Let's see what Lobaton puts down. Fastball away.
Foul tip, and it just popped out of Lobaton's mitt.
Just couldn't hang on.
Pitch number 8 coming.
Carp, this is the lowest we've been to watch Jonathan Papelbon pitch. I want you to focus in on something next pitch. Watch the deception in his delivery and how he hides the baseball. He steps toward the third baseline and throws across his body. It's something we don't see when we're up high at home, but being down low, we have a great vantage point here at Kauffman Stadium that you can really see why he creates deception with his 90-91. The way he comes set and how he throws the glove at you, steps across his body, and the arm comes out of nowhere.
There's the setup right below the curly W. Fastball up and away. 3-2.
Tenth pitch of this at bat coming.
Threw him a strike and got the pop-up. Michael A. Taylor comes racing in. First out, bottom of the 9th. Quite a battle. Kept pumping strikes. Next up, Salvador Perez, who's 0 for 1 career against Jonathan. Perez tonight 0 for 3. 2 fly balls, a grounder in between. And another one out to center. Taylor right there. 2 outs.
Well, not often do you see a ball club not take a strike in this situation. Usually when you're down by 2, you're trying to get aboard and get the tying run to the plate. A lot of teams will take a strike, trying to work a walk or at least a count. But Perez going first pitch hunting, and Ed Yost letting his guys play.
Omar Infante, 7 career at bats against Jonathan Papelbon. 3 base hits. And he's ahead of another hitter. One of those hits, a double. about that off speed? Omar Infante, a contact guy, way out ahead.
He went changeup for the first strike, threw a fastball that he yanked, and then he goes to a slider right there. And like you said, way out in front, good pitch.
High drive foul.
I'm liking the off speed from Jonathan Papelbon tonight. The slider's been good. The split change has been great. Deep breath. Here we go.
Two the count. And now the game's over. The Nationals, a combined 5-hit shutout in Kansas City. And now this really tough, arduous road trip is 4-0 for Washington.
18-7 to start the year. Gio Gonzalez great tonight. 2 runs in the first, then killed off a few penalty plays. And they win 2-0. And the trip of death continues. They're 4-0. It's supposed to be a tough one, but so far not the case.
Tomorrow night, Tanner Roark gets the call against the world